Hey guys, Ali Duzette here, and it is day 7 of this Eclipse portal, which is a 2-week period where everyone in the whole world is having massive spiritual upgrades. And you've lived through this many times in your life, 2 or 3 times a year, every year since you were born. But this time is different because I'm here to help you get the most out of it. If you had a calendar of all of your major life events and a calendar of all the eclipses that you have lived through, you would be astonished at how often there is overlap. And this one is going to be no different. I think most of us are going to have some really big stuff show up for us over this eclipse portal. And so I'm really excited to be here with you as we work through it. Now, my big theme that came up as I was preparing this series was boundaries. And so we have been working on physical body boundaries for the past couple of days. And today we're talking about physical space boundaries. So this is going to be boundaries around your room, your car, your house, your property, your desk, whatever space belongs to you. Who has stewardship over physical space? And what does it mean to have stewardship over a space? This is a question that is actually a massive preoccupation of the entire planet. And I don't know, I feel like in modern society, we can be a little divorced from this because I don't know, because our lives are less tied to land than we realize. In the past, it was very obvious, and now it is not. I had a friend who posted on Facebook. She said, is it possible to truly win a war? Can anybody win a war? And everyone was like, no, it's not worth it. Wars never have any winners because everyone suffers and blah, blah. But I just thought, well, yes, obviously, duh. Like, yes, you can truly win a war. And yes, wars can be worth fighting for. And I thought this is that question is a luxury of the modern age, because if you live in land that is no longer fertile and you can't grow crops to feed your family, yeah, it's worth it to go to war and get some land that can feed your family. Like, yes. And when you fight that war, it might come at great personal sacrifice and it will have been worth it. And that has been the reality for most of time. I mean, that has been the reality for all of the humans that have existed up until the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so, and then everything about human life, again, prior to the Industrial Revolution, came back to this question of who has stewardship over physical space. We're talking feudalism, we're talking warlords, we're talking about, the Greeks coming up with their innovative ideas for government with democracy and America as a republic. Of course, America is not a democracy, as we all know. It is a republic and a democratic republic. And, all of this comes back to stewardship over physical space. What does it mean to have someone in charge of a space? What does it mean to have someone taking care of a space? These are all questions that directly impact our existence and our ability to live. Especially when it comes to things like land that grows crops and livestock. This is how we get our food. It all comes back to physical space and stewardship. So, okay, back to my slideshow. I had this example of school. You might not own the classroom, technically. So like you have a government public school, so the government owns the classroom. So technically the taxpayer owns the classroom. But even so, the teacher will still have stewardship over the classroom. And so she might decorate her classroom in a certain way. And she wants to take care of that room because it is in her stewardship. She's responsible for it, even though she doesn't own it. And the teacher might have stewardship over the classroom, but a child might have stewardship over a desk. And I'm thinking of, I went to a parent-teacher conference at the school, and oh my gosh, I looked over and I saw like there was this horrifically messy desk. And I was like, oh man, one kid has got some problems. Like that desk is disgusting. And then I realized, wait a minute, that's my water bottle on that desk. And that's my other water bottle. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my kid's desk. And she stole all of my water bottles. And her desk was a disaster. Anyway, that was just funny. But she has stewardship over her desk, and her teacher was very respectful of her stewardship. My daughter really was not a good steward of that property and that area, but it was hers, and people respected her space. We are stewards of our own property that we own and the property that is designated to us, even if we don't own it, even if it technically belongs to somebody else. So if you're renting a space, If you have school property, like a laptop from school, or work property, like your work phone, you have a stewardship over it, even though you don't own it. So let's talk about physical space boundary violations. That would include things like people going where they shouldn't have gone, trespassing, destroying property, vandalism, reading somebody else's journal or diary. A school example would be, it would be wrong for someone to go through a kid's stuff in their desk without their permission. At the same time, it would also be wrong for that kid to deface their own desk, because yeah, it's kind of theirs, and also it's not, right? So that is just one example. Physical space violations are not okay. Today is a day to be thinking about where you have had your physical space violated and where you have violated other people's physical space. So these are some journaling prompts. You can pause this page and work through these on your own time. Where have my physical spaces been violated, and what emotions come up when I think about this? When have I violated other people's physical spaces? What emotions come up when I think about that? Virtually everyone has been on both sides of this coin to some degree or another. Maybe someone has entered your space or messed with your stuff without your permission, and maybe you have also done that to somebody else. And again, a children's bedroom is a great example of this. How much stewardship is whose in that scenario? You know, you might own your house, and you probably own all the stuff in your kid's room, really. Like, you probably paid for it, and it probably is kind of basically yours, but your child has a stewardship over the possessions that have been designated for them. And so where do we draw the line? When is it appropriate to force a child to keep their room organized the way that we want it to be organized as an adult? And so that's something that we need to each think about. I don't know. I mean, I think there's lines that need to be drawn around things like safety, and like, you don't want rats in your kid's bedroom and stuff like that. And, health and safety issues, but where do these lines of stewardship end and begin? And this is something that may be different person to person, and we get to work with God to figure out where the lines are. So go ahead and take out your tapping fingers, and we're going to tap, 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 tap on your collarbone. This helps reset your nervous system and kind of reprogram your body with these new belief programs. I recognize the times my space has been violated, and I recognize and honor that this was not okay. I honor the emotions of my physical body relating to physical space boundary violation. It can be safe today for me to feel my feelings around my past experiences with physical space boundary violation. Today, everything is working out so I can fully feel these feelings and let them go. I honor the times I have violated other people's physical space boundaries, and I open my heart to knowing how to heal from these events as well. Put your hands on your heart and breathe it in. You can pause this and go through these tapping scripts over and over if you want to. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing some forgiveness work on physical space boundary violation. So today, I invite you to tell yourself stories about your body instead of about what happened. If you get stressed out about what happened, I want you to pause the story and focus on your body. Where do you feel it in your body? And that's the story I want you to tell yourself. I feel tension in my stomach. I feel a tightness in my chest. I feel a nausea in my throat. Okay, that is the story to tell yourself. I want you to feel your feelings. And if you can set a timer for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, and just feel the feelings about the times your physical space has been violated, feel them all the way. Don't tell the stories, or tell the story of your physical body. My body feels like this when I think about what happened. That's the story to tell yourself. And tomorrow we're going to work on forgiveness so that this stuff doesn't weigh on us like that. If you're new around here, I recommend going to allydosetclasses.com and signing up for the free offerings and the foundational sessions, which are also free. They are going to change your life and bless your life. So I strongly recommend them right now. Thank you so much for being here. Every day that you do your emotional healing work, you are blessing yourself and everyone around you. You don't have to heal other people in your life. I know we all look around and we see the problems that other people have. It's not our job to fix them. It's not our job to fix them. So you healing you is enough. That's what I want to say. So come hang out with me on Facebook if you want at Intuitive Healing with Ali Duzette. Like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you want to get a little ding on your phone when a new video comes out. This is my book on boundaries, and I'm going to recommend it. It's totally optional, so please do not feel like I'm telling you you have to get it. You don't need it, but you might really benefit from it. So now you know it exists. It's on Amazon. The Audible copy is not available at this time as of the recording of this video, but it is in the works. We're working on it. So that is very exciting. And thank you so much for being here. We will see you tomorrow.